The Spark of Defiance. Chapter 1, Echoes of the Unknown. The night was quiet on New Providence, a colony world nestled in the Orion Spur, far from the bustling core worlds of human space. Major Elena Rodriguez sat in her quarters, reviewing the latest deep space reconnaissance reports. Outside her window, the twin moons of the planet cast a silvery glow across the rugged terraformed landscape. Her communication terminal chirped, breaking the silence. It was a routine update from the Planetary Defense Network, routine, until it wasn't. Incoming unidentified fleet signatures, the AI's calm voice announced. Multiple contacts. Configuration, non-human. Elena's muscles tensed. She'd heard stories, read historical accounts of first contact scenarios, but nothing truly prepares you for the moment when theoretical becomes actual. Her training kicked in, pushing aside the surge of adrenaline. Full alert status, she commanded. Wake the reserve squadrons. I want every defensive system online and calibrated. The colony had been preparing for years. Not out of paranoia, but out of a deep-seated understanding that humanity's place in the universe was far from guaranteed. Every child learned survival strategies, every citizen understood their role in planetary defense. This wasn't fear, this was readiness. Chapter 2, The Kraken Approach. Light years away, aboard the Kraken Imperial battleship, Ultimate Victory, Fleet Commander Kryax reviewed the invasion protocols. Humanity was a primitive species, barely capable of understanding their own technological limitations. This would be a swift, decisive action, a demonstration of the Kraken Empire's absolute military superiority. Tactical assessment, Kryax demanded of his senior strategist. The holographic display flickered, showing 3 human colony worlds. New Providence. Arcturus Prime. Horizon's Edge. Each marked with precise invasion vectors, calculated with millennia of military science. Projected resistance, minimal, the strategist reported. Energy shield technology, absent. Weapons systems, primitive. Projected casualties for our forces, less than 3%. Kryax's multiple sensory tendrils rippled with anticipation. Commence operation. What the Kraken did not understand was that humanity's greatest strength had never been its technology. It was adaptability. Creativity. An almost supernatural ability to transform challenges into opportunities. Chapter 3, First Contact. The first wave of Kraken ships emerged from quantum space near New Providence. 12 dreadnoughts, 40 cruisers, 200 smaller tactical vessels, a force that had conquered civilizations far more advanced than humanity. Inside the colony's primary defense control center, Elena watched the incoming fleet with a mixture of professional calm and underlying excitement. Her team was ready. More than ready. They're predictable, she muttered, studying the fleet's approach. Textbook invasion formation. Her second-in-command, Lieutenant Marcus Chen, raised an eyebrow. Predictable is good. Predictable means we can plan. The first energy weapons discharged, cutting through the darkness of space. But something was different about humanity's response. Where other civilizations might have panicked, these defenders seemed almost eager. Incoming transmission, the communication officer announced. The message was simple. 3 words that would become legendary throughout the galaxy. Finally. A challenge. Chapter 4, Unconventional Warfare. The Kraken had studied thousands of civilizations. They understood military doctrine, tactical formations, strategic engagement principles. What they did not understand was humanity's capacity for organized chaos. Human ships moved in patterns that defied traditional navigation. They used their own structural damage as tactical advantages. A vessel losing its primary weapons didn't mean surrender, it meant an opportunity for creative destruction. One human captain, seeing his ship critically damaged, didn't retreat. Instead, he deliberately positioned his vessel to create a debris field, transforming his dying ship into a navigational nightmare for the invaders. Another crew, their neural disruptor systems overwhelmed, simply laughed at the attempted psychological warfare. Laughter. In the face of an alien invasion. Chapter 5, The First Battle. The battle for New Providence would become a case study in military unpredictability. The Kraken expected submission. They received a war dance. Nuclear pulse engines became impromptu weapons. Damaged hulls transformed into strategic assets. Where alien doctrine demanded retreat, humans saw opportunity for counterattack. By the engagement's conclusion, the Kraken invasion fleet was in disarray. They had lost ships. Significant numbers of ships. Against a supposedly primitive civilization. And humanity? Humanity was just getting started. Commander Krax's final transmission would be remembered as one of the most profound understatements in galactic history. They're not fighting a war. They're playing a game. A game humanity was phenomenally good at winning. Technological Improvisation. Chapter 1, Aftermath and Analysis. The dust had barely settled on the battlefields of New Providence when the first global conference of human military strategists convened. Unlike the rigid, protocol-bound meetings of alien civilizations, this was a chaotic symphony of ideas, insights, and radical propositions. Dr. Samira Khan, head of the Adaptive Technologies Research Division, stood before a holographic display showing detailed combat analysis. Her dark eyes gleamed with a combination of scientific curiosity and barely contained excitement. "They underestimated us," she began, her voice cutting through the murmur of conversations. "But more importantly, they fundamentally misunderstood our core strength." Lieutenant Elena Rodriguez, hero of the New Providence defense, leaned forward. Her battle-worn uniform bore subtle scorch marks, souvenirs of their recent encounter. "Adaptability," Elena completed the thought. "We don't just react. We evolve." Chapter 2, Project Prometheus Awakens. Deep within the most secure research facility on Earth, Project Prometheus had been more than a theoretical concept. It was humanity's insurance policy, a comprehensive strategy of technological reverse engineering and innovative adaptation. Every crashed alien probe, every fragment of extraterrestrial technology that had ever been recovered, was meticulously studied. Not just studied, reimagined, repurposed, and often improved in ways that would seem nonsensical to any other species. A team of engineers had recently completed a modification to a captured Kraken shield generator. The original device required massive power sources, complex quantum stabilizers, and intricate cooling systems. The human version, powered by what the lead engineer called a potato battery, a term that would have been laughable if it hadn't worked spectacularly well. Chapter 3, The Information War. While military strategists focused on physical combat, another battle was being waged, the battle of information in psychological warfare. Human communication networks, initially considered primitive by galactic standards, proved to be incredibly resilient. When the Kraken destroyed a primary relay station, humans didn't just replace it. They improvised communication systems using a combination of old radio technology, repurposed microwave devices, and an almost fanatical determination. Marcus Chen, now heading the Rapid Response Communication Division, explained their philosophy to a group of bewildered alien intelligence analysts who had been granted unprecedented access. "We don't have a single point of failure," he said, demonstrating a communication network that could reconfigure itself faster than any known system. "We have 1,000,000 points of potential." Chapter 4, Cultural Preparation. What the Kraken didn't realize was that humanity had been preparing for this moment, not just technologically, but culturally, for generations. Science fiction wasn't just entertainment. It was a collective thought experiment, a training ground for imagining first contact, interstellar conflict, and survival against overwhelming odds. Every book, every film, every game that explored alien encounters had been a subtle form of species-wide preparation. When the actual invasion occurred, humans didn't just react. They recognized the scenario. They had storylines for this. Strategies. Contingencies. Chapter 5, The Next Frontier. As reports of the successful defense spread, something remarkable happened. Rather than fear, humanity experienced a collective surge of curiosity and excitement. Universities expanded xenotechnology research programs. Engineering schools developed new curriculums focused on adaptive technological design. Military academies began rewriting tactical doctrines based on the lessons of New Providence. The Kraken had intended to crush humanity. Instead, they had awakened a sleeping giant, a species that didn't just accept challenges, but actively sought them out. Commander Elena Rodriguez, reviewing the latest technological adaptations, allowed herself a small smile. The galaxy had no idea what was coming. Galactic Ripples. Chapter 1, Diplomatic Tremors. The Galactic Council chamber was unlike any conference room on Earth. Quantum crystal walls pulsed with bioluminescent energy, reflecting the nervous anticipation of representatives from over 300 different species. The failed Kraken invasion had sent shockwaves through interstellar civilization, and nowhere was this more apparent than in this moment. Ambassador Zhrix, a methane-breathing diplomat from the Serix Confederacy, nervously adjusted his environmental suit. His species had spent millennia believing in the absolute hierarchy of technological advancement. Now, that belief was crumbling. The human incident, he began, his translation matrix struggling to convey the nuanced mixture of fear and fascination, represents an unprecedented anomaly in galactic military history. High Counselor C.L. Vree's bioluminescent patches flickered between shades of deep purple and anxious magenta. The traditional 17-minute ceremonial prelude had been abandoned, a sure sign of the gravity of the situation. Chapter 2, Intelligence Gathering. While the diplomatic world trembled, human researchers were already 10 steps ahead. Project Prometheus had transformed from a theoretical concept to a full-scale interdisciplinary effort that defied traditional scientific boundaries. Dr. Samira Khan's research team had begun a comprehensive study of the recovered Kraken technology. But this wasn't mere reverse engineering. This was complete reinvention. "Look at this," she said to her colleague, Dr. Marcus Rodriguez, pointing at a holographic display of a modified shield generator. They used quantum stabilization principles. We've adapted it to work with a distributed energy matrix that's actually more efficient. The device in question looked like a bizarre hybrid, alien technology seamlessly integrated with components that looked like they'd been pulled from a high school science fair. A complex quantum shield generator was now partially powered by what appeared to be a modified car battery and what looked suspiciously like a modified solar panel from an old satellite. Chapter 3, Psychological Warfare. The human response to the Kraken invasion had revealed something far more terrifying than advanced weapons or tactical brilliance. It was a psychological approach to conflict that defied all known galactic military doctrine. Where most species saw combat as a serious, life-or-death proposition, humans treated it like an elaborate, high-stakes puzzle. Every challenge was an opportunity. Every setback was a chance to innovate. Intercepted human communications revealed a disturbing, to alien observers, level of excitement about the conflict. After-action reports were filled with detailed analyses, but also with what could only be described as enthusiasm. Military debriefings often sounded more like strategy game sessions, complete with jokes, creative problem-solving, and what seemed like genuine enjoyment. Chapter 4, Technological Ecosystem. The truly terrifying aspect of human technological development wasn't any single breakthrough. It was the speed and collaborative nature of their innovation. Where most species guarded technological secrets, humans seemed to operate on an almost viral model of knowledge sharing. A solution developed by a team in one research facility would be globally distributed within hours. Modifications, improvements, and entirely new approaches would follow almost immediately. The Kraken had destroyed a communication relay on New Providence. Within 48 hours, humans had not only replaced it but had developed a more robust communication system that could operate with minimal infrastructure. A captured alien communications expert watched in horror as humans demonstrated a communication network that could reconfigure itself faster than any known system. It wasn't just a backup plan, it was a living, breathing technological ecosystem. Chapter 5, The Prometheus Protocol. Deep within Earth's most secure research facility, Project Prometheus had evolved into something far beyond its original mandate. It was no longer just about defending against alien threats. It was about understanding, adapting, and ultimately, advancing. Elena Rodriguez, now heading the strategic integration team, reviewed the latest reports. The Kraken invasion had been more than a military encounter. It had been a catalyst, a moment that would define humanity's approach to interstellar relations. "We're not preparing for war," she told her team. "We're preparing for every possibility." The room was a testament to human ingenuity. Alien technology fragments were displayed like puzzle pieces, surrounded by sketches, holographic models, and what could only be described as creative reimaginings of their original purposes. A captured Kraken shield generator sat next to what appeared to be a jury-rigged power source made from what looked like parts of an old microwave and a bicycle generator. Next to it, a team was discussing how to integrate the technology with something called a potato battery. The galaxy was watching. And humanity was just getting started. Technological divergence. Chapter 1, The Quantum Frontier. The research facility on Europa, Jupiter's moon, was humanity's most advanced extraterrestrial research center. Carved deep beneath the ice, it represented the pinnacle of human scientific ambition, a place where the impossible was merely a problem waiting to be solved. Dr. Arya Chen stood before a quantum entanglement array that would have made most alien scientists declare impossible. It was a device that shouldn't work, couldn't work, and yet, it did. "Quantum communication isn't about distance," she explained to her international team. "It's about understanding. We're not just transmitting information. We're creating conversation." The device looked like a nightmare of technological hybridization. Alien quantum processors salvaged from a crashed scout ship were integrated with what appeared to be repurposed telecommunications equipment from the early 21st century. Circuit boards that should have been incompatible were linked by custom-designed adapters that defied conventional engineering principles. Chapter 2, The Kraken Response. In the depths of their home system, the Kraken High Command was experiencing something unprecedented: confusion. Their initial invasion had been a calculated military action. A simple demonstration of technological superiority. Instead, they had awakened something far more dangerous than a military threat. Intelligence reports showed humans weren't just defending. They were learning. Adapting. Improving. Fleet Admiral Krazax reviewed the latest intercepted communications. Where most species would have retreated, gone defensive, humans were doing something entirely unexpected. They were preparing. Not just for defense, but for exploration. Chapter 3, Cultural Adaptation. The human approach to technological integration was fundamentally different from any known galactic civilization. Where others saw technology as a tool, humans saw it as a living, breathing ecosystem. A captured Kraken xenoanthropologist struggled to explain the phenomenon to her superiors. Humans didn't just use technology. They formed relationships with it. Every piece of equipment was a potential partner in problem-solving. The after-action reports from the New Providence defense were particularly disturbing. Military personnel spoke about their equipment with a level of familiarity that bordered on the intimate. Ships weren't just machines, they were extensions of their crews. One particularly notable report described a damaged frigate whose crew continued to fight even after losing primary systems. They didn't just repair, they reimagined. Turning damaged components into impromptu weapons, using failed systems as strategic assets. Chapter 4, The Information Warfare. While physical combat had been the initial battleground, the real war was happening in the realm of information and adaptation. Human communication networks had become something entirely new. Not just a method of transmission, but a living, adaptive organism. When the Kraken destroyed a communication relay, humans didn't just replace it. They transformed the entire communication paradigm. Marcus Chen, now leading the Adaptive Communication Research Division, demonstrated a network that could reconfigure itself faster than any known system. It wasn't just redundant. It was resilient. "We don't have a single point of failure," he explained to a group of bewildered alien intelligence analysts. "We have 1,000,000 points of potential." Chapter 5, The Prometheus Breakthrough. The breakthrough came unexpectedly. Not from a massive research facility, but from a small laboratory in New Mexico. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, no relation to the military commander, but equally brilliant, had been studying the quantum entanglement data from the Europa facility. What she discovered was beyond anything the Galactic Council could comprehend. The humans weren't just adapting alien technology. They were creating something entirely new. A communication system that could operate across quantum states. A technological approach that didn't just break the rules of known science, it rewrote them entirely. The device looked like organized chaos. Alien quantum processors. Repurposed telecommunications equipment. Custom-designed adapters that defied conventional engineering. A power source that seemed to draw energy from multiple, seemingly incompatible sources. And it worked. As the first successful transmission went through, bridging distances that should have been impossible, Dr. Rodriguez allowed herself a small smile. The galaxy had no idea what was coming. Galactic Reckoning. Chapter 1, The Prometheus Effect. The Galactic Council chamber had never been so silent. Representatives from over 300 species sat frozen, watching a holographic presentation that challenged everything they understood about technological development and interstellar relations. Ambassador Zhrix, whose methane-breathing species had witnessed the rise and fall of countless civilizations, felt something unprecedented, genuine fear. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood at the center of the holographic display, her presentation a culmination of humanity's most extraordinary technological achievements. Behind her, a timeline showed humanity's rapid evolution from a supposedly primitive species to a technological force that defied comprehension. "We're not here to conquer," she began, her voice calm and steady. "We're here to collaborate. To explore. To understand." Chapter 2, Technological Symphony. The breakthrough came from an unexpected fusion of disciplines. Where alien civilizations maintained strict boundaries between scientific fields, humans had created something entirely different, a technological ecosystem that thrived on cross-pollination. The quantum communication system developed at the Europa facility was just the beginning. It wasn't just a method of transmission, it was a living, adaptive network that learned and grew with each interaction. Dr. Samira Khan, leading the Adaptive Technologies Research Division, demonstrated a device that would have been considered pure fantasy by any other species. A communication array that could translate not just languages, but entire cultural contexts. It didn't just convert words, it bridged understanding. "Technology is a conversation," she explained to the stunned council members. "Not a weapon. Not a tool. A dialogue." Chapter 3, The Cultural Revolution. What the Galactic Council failed to understand was that humanity's true strength wasn't in its technology. It was in its approach to innovation. Every piece of alien technology recovered became a puzzle. Not something to be copied, but something to be understood, reimagined, transformed. The human scientific method was less about replication and more about conversation. A captured Kraken shield generator, once a pinnacle of technological achievement, had been completely reimagined. Powered by a combination of quantum principles and what appeared to be a modified agricultural battery, it now operated with an efficiency that defied all known scientific principles. Marcus Chen, presenting the technological adaptations, couldn't help but smile. "We don't see limitations," he said. "We see opportunities." Chapter 4, The Diplomatic Transformation. The Galactic Council had convened expecting to discuss humanity's potential threat. Instead, they found themselves witnessing a comprehensive proposal for interstellar cooperation. Humanity wasn't interested in conquest. They were interested in understanding. Project Prometheus had evolved into something far beyond a defensive strategy. It was a blueprint for collaborative exploration. Every technological breakthrough was immediately shared. Every scientific discovery became a potential point of collective advancement. Elena Rodriguez's presentation included proposals for joint research facilities, cross-species technology exchange programs, and a comprehensive framework for peaceful technological development. "We're not just a species," she explained. "We're a potential bridge between civilizations." Chapter 5, The Future Undefined. As the presentation concluded, something unprecedented happened. The rigid protocols of the Galactic Council, protocols that had remained unchanged for millennia, began to crack. Representatives who had arrived expecting to discuss humanity's potential threat were now engaged in passionate discussions about collaborative research. The Kraken, who had initiated the invasion, found themselves offering technological exchanges. Dr. Rodriguez looked out over the chamber. The fear was still there. But now it was mixed with something else. Curiosity. Potential. Hope. The galaxy had underestimated humanity. But humanity wasn't interested in proving them wrong. They were interested in proving what was possible. Finn.